Good Sunday coming up. Excuse me there. This is the first edition of Being Live, and it's a special one. Just one day before President-elect Donald Trump will take command, we're taking a look at his inauguration plans, plus his victory rally that's ongoing there with Kid Rock performing on the right side of your screen at Capital One Arena in D.C. And a senior at Brookland High School is planning to attend the inauguration. What he told Jonesboro right now. And TikTok is back after going dark late last night. The question still being asked and what Trump has now said. Plus, we're taking a look at a week full of Senate confirmation hearings. The week's most notable moments, and is there a possibility of a nominee not passing a vote? Brookland News Live starts right now. Good afternoon, I'm Jackson Mitchell, joining you live from Brookland News headquarters in Brookland, Arkansas. A big thanks to all of you watching the first edition of Brookland News Live. Now, back out here where you can see there at Capital One Arena there in D.C., we are monitoring the events ongoing at that arena in Washington. And as soon as Donald Trump takes the stage, we will take you live right there. You're seeing a performance there from Kid Rock. I want to take you first, though, to some breaking news that has been coming in all morning in this busy news day. Today was the first day the ceasefire deal went into effect in the Middle East. 3 hostages were released from Hamas and given to the Red Cross, then to Israeli officials. Now, they are all back home and said to be safe. Those 3 hostages, all women, 24-year-old Romy, 31-year-old Daron, and 28-year-old Emily. Biden spoke this morning on America's part in all of this. He said, quote, the deal that and I'm sorry, we just don't have that video right now, but he said, quote, the deal that I put forward last May for the Middle East has finally come fruition. The ceasefire has gone in effect in Gaza, and today we're seeing hostages being released. 3 women held against their will in dark tunnels for 470 days. 4 more women will be released in 7 days. 3 additional hostages every 7 days thereafter, including at least 2 American citizens in the first phase. A reporter then asked about the condition of the hostages. Biden went on to say that yes, he knew information about it, saying, I've got a call saying that 3 are released, and the ones in Gaza, 2 out of hands of their captors, and they appear to be in good health, but it is too early to tell. He says that they have been discussing that, and they may have already been across the border on the Gaza Strip by the time of that press conference. Now, of course, this is all a part of a larger ceasefire deal over the next 41 days, or 6 weeks. 33 more hostages will be released. The first will include women, elderly, and children. Now, this is a 3-phase deal, all 6 weeks long, and by the end, if successful, the war will be over. Now, we will continue to follow all of that. A lot that the president-elect wants to do on his first day in office, but we are going to sneak in our very first break here. We're back in just 60 seconds here on Brookland News Live. The coverage continues in just a moment. And welcome back here to Brookland News Live. We are continuing to monitor the events there at Capital One Arena, where we have just seen a performance from Kid Rock, and I believe he's still going there. I want to turn now, though, to President-elect Donald Trump, who is set to take office tomorrow, and there's a lot he wants to do. One of those issues Trump plans to tackle is the southern border. The president-elect has pledged to carry out the, quote, largest deportation in American history. Trump has appointed Border Czar Tom Homan to lead the administration's effort. But one problem the administration is facing is funding. Tom Homan in an NBC News interview here.
Do you need that money in order for this to be effective?
The sooner we get the money, the more effective we're going to be. But because there's limited money right now, doesn't mean we're not going to start day one. We'll deal with it as we're going to start day one. The president's going to take steps to secure the border day one. We're going to start the national operation day one.
What are some of those steps on day one?
As far as, look, I'm not going to get ahead of the president on this. He's going to be announcing some things on day one. And going to be things you've seen in the past, and there's going to be some new things.
Are we talking about re-implementing Title 42?
I'm not going to comment. I'm not going to get ahead of the president on that.
Okay, I want to apologize about that. Just a little bit of an audio issue there. I apologize for that squealing, but essentially Tom Homan talking there about the need of $86 billion to fund that exact effort. Now, the initial effort would include immigrants with a criminal record and those with pending removal orders. Trump also said in an interview that the deportations could include children born to immigrants in America, meaning they would be American citizens. Here's Trump in an NT News interview.
I think you have to do it, and it's a very tough thing to do. But you have to have, you have rules, regulations, laws. They came in illegally. The people that have been treated very unfairly are the people that have been online for 10 years to come into the country. And we're going to make it very easy for people to come in terms of they have to pass the test.
Apologies there. Now that moving on here, that administration has also planned to tackle taxes. Trump has pledged to continue the Tax Cuts and Job Act, something he enacted in 2017 during his first administration. This would continue the tax cuts for those middle and higher class family. Now, so much to discuss here. That's just a few of the issues. Now, when we also talk about taxes, Trump has pledged to remove taxes on tips and overtime. That's just two big issues Trump has planned to act on. Coming up, your local minute, and we are continuing to follow right there on your screen Trump's victory rally at Capital One Arena in D.C. Brookland News Live returns in a moment. And welcome back. It's time for your Apologies about that here. It's time for your local minute. A Brookland High School senior will attend Donald Trump's inauguration on Monday in a story published by Jonesboro right now, and we are having some technical difficulties getting that feed pulled up. I just want to apologize there, but I'll just read it out to you here. In a story published by Jonesboro right now, it says, just quoting it here, Houston Johnson, 17, a senior at Brookland High School, has been planning this trip for a while. Right after the presidential election's outcome was certain, he informed his parents, Sean and Dana Johnson, that a trip to D.C. for the inauguration would be a great Christmas present. He said, quote, I just thought it'd be a cool experience and something that will never happen again in my lifetime. For him, he said, it's more about seeing Trump enter office for the second time than just attending a presidential inauguration. He added that he would not have been interested in attending if Vice President Kamala Harris had won. Really, such an interesting story there. That was a quote there from Jonesboro right now, as a Brookland High School senior is expected to attend this inauguration. Now, it said in that story that he would not be sitting too far away from where Donald Trump would speak there, but that could have changed now, noting that this event has now moved inside the Capitol Rotunda, similar to Ronald Reagan's inauguration, due to frigid temperatures that are expected and are actually arriving in D.C. later tonight and tomorrow. Now, when Being Live returns, we are talking all about that TikTok ban, that all-important TikTok ban. The application is back. What Donald Trump has said, everything you need to know on that. That's all. When we return, back here in just 60 seconds. And welcome back here on Brooklyn News Live. That TikTok ban has been also important. The app now returning after a post from Donald Trump. You're seeing there on the right side of your screen, John Voight, an actor, speaking at the Trump rally there in D.C. We are going to continue to monitor that, but we want to talk about that breaking social media news. The TikTok application is back after it said early this morning that it would restore its service after Donald Trump said he would sign an executive order giving TikTok yet another 90 days to divest. Now, we are again having some issues with our images and pulling those up. I can try one more time here, and if it pulls up, it'll work. But nope, we do not have it. I want to apologize about that. But Trump said in a Truth Social earlier today, quote, I'm asking companies not to let TikTok stay dark. I will issue an executive order on Monday to extend the period of time before the law's prohibitions take effect so that we can make a deal to protect our national security. The order will also confirm that there will be no liability for any company that helped keep TikTok from going dark before my order. And that sentence right there appears to be what TikTok is saying, why it has now restored its service to its users. Now, the Truth Social post goes on to say, Americans deserve to see our exciting inauguration on Monday, as well as other events and conversations. He says, I would like the United States to have a 50% ownership position in a joint venture. By doing this, he saved TikTok keep it in good hands and allow it to stay up. Without U.S. approval, there is no TikTok. With our approval, it is worth hundreds of billions of dollars, maybe trillions. Now, this all comes after late last night, millions of users were left with a screen, and image is still not working to pull up on the screen, but it essentially was a little pop-up, and it said, learn more, close app, and it had a message just above it saying that why this application was banned in the United States, and that it is hopeful under President Trump that it can restore its application. So, and that is exactly what has occurred here. And maybe a question that could be asked is, does this make President Biden and the Democratic Party kind of look like the bad guys for banning this application that nearly 170 million Americans used? And then Trump says, hey, I'm just gonna give you guys 90 more days. Maybe we can work something out in that period of time, and the app just comes back. So, comparing Biden to Trump here, what does that look like to those 170 million American users? And a week full of Senate confirmation hearings. Moving on now, Democrats and Republicans pressing Trump nominees. Here is a look at a few highlights, and we can pull this up.
I assume you will agree with me that withholding disaster relief by President Trump or any other chief executive of the United States is a violation of his duty and of law.
Well, Senator, leadership has consequences. And looking at the tragedy that's happening in California,
I want to ask you yes or no, with all due respect. Yeah. It's an easy...
What's happening in California is the ramification of many decisions over many years. But under my leadership at the Department of Homeland Security, there will be no political bias to how disaster relief is delivered to the American people.
It's called concierge service for illegal immigrants. I'm sure you're familiar with it. This was the Biden administration's effort to allow asylum seekers to apply ahead of time using their phones. Will you end the use of the CBP One app?
Yes, Senator, if confirmed, and I have the opportunity to be secretary on day one, CBP One will be shut down.
Are you prepared to say today under oath without reservation that Donald Trump lost the presidential contest to Joe Biden in 2020?
President Biden is the president of the United States. He was duly sworn in.
You have the gravitas, the stature, the intestinal fortitude to say, Donald Trump, you lost the 2020 election. Can you tell us that here today?
Senator, what I can tell you is I will never play politics. You're trying to engage me in a gotcha.
Will you now retract your previous statements that Trump won Pennsylvania in the 2020 election, yes or no?
Oh, Senator, I traveled to Pennsylvania, and let me tell you what I saw firsthand.
Yes or no?
Mr. Hague said, I do not believe that you are qualified to meet the overwhelming demands of this job.
How you bring accountability to the table, what you've done in the past, and what you're going to do with regard to bringing accountability to the Pentagon.
I know what I don't know. I know I've never run an organization of 3 million people with a budget of $850 billion. But what I do know is that I've led men and women. I've led people.
I've been trying to get answers from you for quite some time on this. You haven't wanted to meet or to answer any of my questions. So we'll just have to do it here and dive in.
As recently as November the 7th of 2024 on the Sean Ryan Show, you said, and I quote, I'm straight up saying that we should not have women in combat roles.
Senator, I would like to clarify, when I'm talking about that issue, it's not about the capabilities of men and women, it's about standards.
Where is the reference to standards that they should be there if they can carry, if they can run?
You will have to change how you see women to do this job well, and I don't know if you are capable of that.
As Secretary of Defense, will you support women continuing to have the opportunity to serve in combat roles?
Yes, women will have access to ground combat roles, given the standards remain high, and we'll have a review to ensure the standards have not been eroded.
Okay, some fury hearings there. Really, the big one that was to watch there was Trump's pick for Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, under a lot of fire there. Right now, you're seeing on the right side of your screen, though, Stephen Miller, a longtime Trump advisor. He says, we're at the dawn of our greatest victory, also saying that it's just one more day until we have welcome Trump. So that we are continuing to monitor that. But moving on with the news about the Senate confirmations. The actual confirmation votes are expected to begin Monday following Trump's inauguration, and BN has been continuing to follow Trump's victory rally in D.C. at Capital One Arena. You are looking live there. Stephen Miller, longtime advisor to Trump, there speaking. A few more speakers before we see President-elect Donald Trump, but let's listen in here for just a moment.
Our people, and it's going to mean justice for every American citizen who has lost a loved one to an illegal alien. It's going to mean justice for Laken Riley. It's going to mean justice for Jocelyn Nungary. It's going to mean justice for every precious soul stolen from us by Joe Biden's open border. Accountability is coming. Justice is coming. The whole federal bureaucracy is about to learn that they don't work for themselves, they work for you, they work for President Trump, and they work for the American people. We are about to get our country back and our democracy back. And we are about to have a government at every level that is fighting for you, your family, and your future, lowering the cost of living, lowering the cost of health care, defeating inflation, getting criminal thugs off our streets and behind bars so that our kids can live in safety. We're not going to walk over piles of needles to take our kids to the park. And we're not going to let the radical left indoctrinate our children into believing there's 435 genders. Because President Trump knows there are men and there are women. And it is not up to you whether you're a man or a woman. That's a decision that's made by God, and it can't be changed. So I ask all of you to embrace this moment for all it represents and everything it means. It's about the triumph of the everyday citizen over a corrupt and broken system. Over the last not just 4 but 8 years, the MAGA movement has been fighting against every single force that has been decaying, destroying, and decimating our society. It's been fighting the corrupt special interests, the corrupt foreign governments, the weaponized bureaucracy at the FBI and the DOJ and the intelligence community, and it's been fighting a political class that cares only for itself. And they were so sure they were going to beat us. They were so sure they were going to stop Donald Trump. They were so sure that they were going to crush this movement out of existence. And yet, here we stand today, and MAGA is stronger, more powerful, more united, and more determined than ever before. And Donald J. Trump is about to save this country. And we are about to live in a land where once again, the dreams of America's sons, the dreams of America's daughters, the dreams of America's moms and dads are the dreams that will power and propel this country, this government, and this future. So I want each and every one of you, and I want your families, and I want your children to take this opportunity to feel the pride and the joy and the exuberance in knowing that the American people won. We still control this country. We still control this future. We still control this government. And we are about to inaugurate as the 47th president our champion, Donald J. Trump. Thank you. God bless you, and God bless America.
Okay. Stephen Miller, the incoming deputy press not press secretary, I should say, the incoming deputy chief of staff for underneath President-elect Donald Trump's administration there, talking about the so controversial topic when it comes to Democrats and Republicans, transgender, what people identify as, and things of that nature, and also important topic that has come up yet so much in all of this. So that was Stephen Miller, the incoming Trump Deputy Chief of Staff. John Voight speaking a little bit earlier, I should say. Apologies about that, a little bit earlier. And Now we are seeing conservative talk show host, radio talk show host on Sirius XM. She hosts the Megyn Kelly Show. Megyn Kelly now speaking here. We are going to continue listening in to this rally, victory rally happening just one day before President-elect Donald Trump will take office. Let's listen in here. Megyn Kelly at the victory rally.
I'm so pumped up about it. Things are already happening in anticipation of Trump being sworn in, like Facebook and McDonald's getting rid of their DEI programs. Good for you, McDonald's workers. Looking at you, Kamala Harris. Really? No, not really. Wasn't true. You got universities from University of Michigan to North Carolina to all the public universities in Iowa, all the public universities in Texas getting rid of DEI. You have got, yes, you've got a bill that passed the House this week, the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act. Yes. Now, it passed once before, but this time we control the Senate. We have a much better shot. Still have to get 60 votes to get a vote. We're looking good. You've got a judge who struck down Joe Biden's disgusting changes to Title IX, which has been stopped in its tracks, and it will be killed entirely, those changes, as soon as Trump gets in there. Have no doubt whatsoever. Good things are happening all around the country. Pete Hegseth was testifying this week that military recruiting is already going up in anticipation of their new commander-in-chief. The deal in Gaza, right before Trump takes office, as he said, if it's not done by the time I get there, all hell is going to break loose. The goodness just keeps on coming. I woke up this morning, I was 2 inches taller, a pound thinner, and I had skin like Jennifer Lopez. That last one's not true. Okay, speaking of J-Lo, how happy are you that her candidate lost? It's so delightful. These Hollywood celebrities who get up there and try to tell us how to vote, really? I mean, like those celebrities who know nothing about anything? All J-Lo knows about what to do is to ruin marriages. She's an expert at that. Why does she have to try to ruin the country too? So goodbye, J-Lo. It didn't work out for you. Goodbye, Meryl Streep, who showed up at that Oprah event saying, "Oh, Madam President," to Kamala Harris. Madam President. How'd that work out? About as well as her comment that Harvey Weinstein was God. And maybe we should stop listening to her. Maybe we shouldn't be going to her for our political advice. And then you had Oprah herself. Oprah, she'll interview you if you pay her $1 million too. Yeah, it's a low fee of $1 million to sit down with Oprah Winfrey, apparently. That's what the Harris campaign paid her production company, she says. And for that, you know what you get? You get Oprah yelling at you. Kamala Harris! Why are you doing that? So calm down, madam. Didn't work out for her either. But of course, the fakest person involved on that side of the aisle was the woman at the top, Kamala Harris herself. Thank you, who pretended that she wasn't the border czar, who pretended that she was middle class, who pretended that she was smart. And the American people did not buy it. Every time you turned around, this woman was doing something faker than the last, right? Her fake Jamaican accent, her fake Eastern European accent, her fake Spanish accent. It was like spending a day at Joe Biden's southern border. Non-stop, right? We gonna win. It's not how it went, right? But my favorite was the preacher accent. Joy cometh in the morning. She wasn't wrong about that. It came at about 1:22 a.m. on election night when the election was called for Donald J. Trump. I felt it. I've been thinking so much about Trump, especially today and this week. I know you have too. Praying for him, praying for his family. Thankful to them. I mean, think about it. I interviewed Trump about a year plus ago and asked him, why are you doing this? You could be in Scotland, you could be at your golf courses. It's because he loves the country. and he wasn't done yet. And we're not done with him. So God bless him and the family for making this sacrifice and doing public service. Same with J.D. Vance and the cabinet members, all of whom need our prayers and support. But I'm also thinking of all of you. I'm thinking about you. I'm thinking about Americans who got us here. Because the things that Trump is accomplishing already, some of the things I mentioned in anticipation of him taking office.
Hey guys, did you know some drivers are ditching their car insurance and they're doing this instead? Now, the reason why you may be overpaying for
Megyn Kelly there, the conservative talk show host of her own show, The Megyn Kelly Show on Sirius XM, getting that crowd fired up there in Washington, D.C. at Capital One Arena. She's talked about the Women in Sports Act essentially would assist and what the Republicans want, which is those who are transgender playing and the gender they now identify as sports, getting them out of that and forcing them essentially to play in those sports that they were biologically, that align with the gender they're biologically born at. A lot of kind of explaining words to get that out there. Megyn Kelly continuing her speech at Capital One Arena in D.C. Let's continue listening in.
Super tolerant college, okay. Made it, she alleged later, untenable for her to stay. She got forced out of her job. And I'm honestly not sure whether Jodi's fully recovered. So she got hurt. And she got hurt for all of you and for us and for the rest who are at Smith. She's a hero. Jodi Smith is a genuine hero for doing this. But it wasn't just Jodi. I mean, I'm thinking about people like Andrew Gutman, who had a daughter at a posh school on the Upper East Side of Manhattan and pulled her, but he didn't go quietly. He wrote a scathing letter, ripping them to shreds for what they're doing to us with this race essentialism nonsense. He went out with a bang and he made sure other parents knew what the problem was. Jason Riley of the Wall Street Journal, you may see him on Fox News sometimes, and his wife Naomi Schaefer Riley, who pulled their mixed race daughters from a school in Rye, New York, and made a point of doing it because that school thought that their mixed race daughters were desperate to talk about their blackness all the time, and they found out the hard way those kids really just wanted to learn math. These battles are being won piece by piece, one at a time, and there are so many others. I'm thinking about the 14-year-old girls in Wisconsin who had an 18-year-old guy come in there naked into their showers after gym. I'm thinking about the young woman in Massachusetts who just wanted to play field hockey and suddenly got all of her teeth knocked out because a boy played for the other team posing as a girl. How do we know about these stories? Because people were outraged. Citizens went to the news. They went to their principals. Girls spoke out one by one and got the ball rolling on change. And change is coming. All of you wearing the MAGA hats. It used to be an act of civil disobedience, right? Yes, sir, defiance of a registered order that didn't want to hear from you. But wearing that hat for much of the past 8 years has been an act of courage, too. And I know, just because you're here, that you had your moments in your own communities, whether it was online or at the bowling alley or at the restaurant or at school, where you stood up for one of these same issues. Where you had to tell somebody you didn't want to be reduced to skin color. Where you said, I prefer the days when we didn't make a thing out of that. Where you had to tell somebody that boys cannot become girls and girls cannot become boys. Those battles, one after the other, have been fought, and this anti-DEI momentum has been built brick by brick, thanks to all of you. And you who listened to Donald Trump, who, when a reporter asked him at a presidential debate in 2015 about some of the language he used, responded by saying, "What I say is what I say. And if you don't like it, too bad." That was more than just a quick comeback. That was a reminder of what America is. In America, we have the right of free speech. We have the right to offend, to provoke, to annoy, and to stand up for what we believe in, even if you find it controversial. We have the right not to use the words you try to force on us, like your preferred pronouns or words like anti-racist or chest feeding. We are reminded of that daily by President Trump, who would never bow to the woke mob. Just ask Brett Kavanaugh, who will be swearing in J.D. Vance tomorrow as he, Kavanaugh, sits in his robes as an Associate Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court. So I thank all of you for being part of the Trump movement and for bringing these changes upon us and for bringing Donald Trump back into the office. And a reminder before I go, stay strong. We haven't won the war. We're winning. We won a bunch of battles, but he's going to need all of you every step of the way. We're going to have to be patient. We're going to have to steel our spines. Do not bend. Never bow. What I say is what I say. God bless you. God bless President Trump. God bless the United States of America.
Megyn Kelly there, conservative host of the radio show the Megyn Kelly Show on Sirius XM there. That was live there at the Trump victory rally that's been ongoing now for some time. We have seen speaker after speaker, and we will continue to listen into all of them. Right now, we are seeing a bit of a break here in that rally. Can we split screen it here? A split screen look there. We are seeing a little bit of a break in speakers. Megyn Kelly, John Voight, soon to be Deputy Press Secretary, all speaking here at this rally here. But for now, it's just a break. And what's going on, and something you must note here is what things look like going forward. We had talked earlier about the border, the southern border, and taxes. And I want to go back and redo some of that coverage and re-go through just a little bit of what this could all look like. So Trump has pledged to do a number of things, including solving the southern border problem, a problem that has come up yet so often now. I want to play one issue that has continuously come up by Tom Homan, the incoming border czar, has been funding. He talks all about that in this NBC News.
Do you need that money in order for this to be effective?
The sooner we get the money, the more effective we're going to be. But because there's limited money right now, doesn't mean we're not going to start day one. We'll deal with it as we're going to start day one. The president's going to take steps to secure the border day one. We're going to start the national operation day one.
What are some of those steps on day one?
As far as, look, I'm not going to get ahead of the president on this. He's going to be announcing some things on day one. And going to be things you've seen in the past, and there's going to be some new things.
Are we talking about re-implementing Title 42?
I'm not going to comment. I'm not going to get ahead of the president on that.
And that was incoming border czar Tom Homan on all of that. We are continuing to monitor once again that live feed at Capital One Arena where Donald Trump is going to speak later in the evening. It looks like it could be prime time by the time he eventually speaks. We have a lot of speakers to come up, singers including Billy Ray Cyrus. We have another band, and we had Kid Rock kicking off his performance earlier. The coverage doesn't stop right here on Being Live, but we are going to sneak away for a quick 2-minute break. Back in just 2 minutes. Being Live continues in moments. apologize. We want to break out just 30 seconds before that break was expected to begin because some breaking news that we have been following throughout the day is the freedom of 3 hostages in the Israel and Hamas war. Steve Witkoff, Trump's kind of right-hand man in these ceasefire negotiations, is now speaking at that Trump victory rally at Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. I want to listen in for just a moment here.
Responsible for this release, and we all owe him a debt of gratitude, as do all the families. Mr. President, distinguished guests, and my fellow Americans, today we celebrate not just the inauguration of President Donald J. Trump, but the enduring values of American strength and leadership, and the vision that he represents. Over the years, I have had the privilege of witnessing firsthand the qualities that define President Trump, not just as a leader, but as a man. His determination to protect the interests of the American people, his bold approach to solving problems, and his relentless pursuit of progress have defined his presidency and inspired millions across the globe. President Trump has always understood that leadership is not about following trends, but about charting a new course. In the face of immense challenges, he has consistently stood firm, driven by a deep belief in the potential of America and its people. Today, his leadership extends beyond our borders, influencing the world in ways that reflect the best of our ideals. Nowhere is this more evident than in the Middle East. Under President Trump's guidance, the Abraham Accords have transformed a region long defined by conflict. Thank you. These historic agreements have brought together nations that once stood divided, fostering cooperation, trade, and understanding. The Accords are a testament to the President's belief that peace is achievable when we approach challenges with strength, clarity, and a shared vision for the future. As the Special Envoy to the Middle East, it is my honor to carry forward this mission on behalf of the President. Thank you. The work we do in this region is not just about diplomacy. It is about creating a legacy of hope, stability, and opportunity. The Middle East is home to extraordinary potential, and through President Trump's leadership, we are unlocking that potential in ways that benefit the region and the entire world. President Trump's achievements are not just a reflection of his policies, but of his core principles. He has always stood for religious freedom, human dignity, and the belief that every individual deserves the chance to succeed. His efforts have strengthened alliances, encouraged economic growth, and ensured that America remains a trusted partner on the global stage. Mr. President, your vision for the Middle East is a reminder that true leadership is about results. You have shown that even in the face of skepticism, progress is possible when we approach challenges with boldness and resolve. The Abraham Accords are not just agreements. They are a blueprint for a future where peace is not the exception, but is the expectation. As we look ahead, the challenges remain significant, but so do the opportunities. Under your leadership, Mr. President, we will continue to expand the circle of peace, strengthen partnerships, and promote prosperity across the world. This is a cause worthy of our efforts, and I am deeply honored to play a role in advancing your vision. I am reminded of the words of Abraham Lincoln, who said, "I am a firm believer in the people. If given the truth, they can be depended upon to meet any national crisis. The great point is to bring them the real facts." Mr. President, you have always trusted the American people with the truth, even when it has been difficult. And you have reminded us all that through honesty, strength, and determination, no challenge is too great. Today we begin a new chapter under your leadership. It is a chapter defined by hope and unity and the belief that America's best days are still ahead. Together we will continue to build on the foundations you have laid, ensuring that your vision for a stronger, safer, and more prosperous world becomes a reality. May God bless you, Mr. President. May God bless the United States of America. And may he guide us all in the pursuit of peace and progress. Thank you. Thank you.
Steve Witkoff there, the special envoy for President-elect Donald Trump in the Middle East, who has been a part of the negotiations. Dana White now expected to speak here. We'll listen in here for just a moment, in just a second here, but the special envoy for the Middle East, they're speaking for a number of moments, talking about how important and what he believes, how important it is for him to be in the Middle East, and even addressing his opinions on Trump's beliefs for the Middle East, which he's kind of outlined as a great thing. UFC CEO Dana White now speaking here at the victory rally for President-elect Donald Trump. Let's listen in.
Republican candidate in 20 years to win the popular vote. He also made major gains among traditionally Democrat voters by increasing his support with Latin, Asian American, Black, and young voters. So what does that tell us? Democracy is alive and well in this country. And the people have spoke loud and clear. America wants President Trump back in the White House. Think about this. Winning this election after everything that's happened over the last few years is an amazing achievement and an incredible comeback story. Think of all the things President Trump had to go through to get back here. All the powerful forces that tried to take him down. The mainstream media, partisan prosecutors, assassins. It's absolutely insane what this man has been through. And only President Trump could have fought through all those obstacles, all the attacks, and still come out the winner. But you know what? That's just what he is. This guy is a winner. And I say this all the time. He is the toughest, most resilient person that I've ever met, and nothing was going to stop him from fighting so hard for the country he loves. He embodies what being an American is all about. We are the toughest, most resilient people on earth. And nothing can stop us when we unite. To all those Americans who didn't vote for President Trump, and all they know about him is what they hear from the mainstream media, I just want to let you know, he has been an incredibly loyal friend to me for over 2 decades. And not once has he ever asked me for anything in return. And he's proven again and again how tough he is, but he's also a man who truly cares about people. Everything great that has ever happened to me in my career he's been the first one to reach out and congratulate me. And more importantly, in the hard times, he's been the first one to reach out and let me know if there's anything I need. And all this during a time when he had a laundry list of his own problems he was dealing with. He is the best human being that I have ever known. So America, it's time for us all to put our differences aside, and we can't do that if we continue to focus on all the issues that divide us instead of all the issues that unite us. The fate of this country is tied to the fate of the president. So if you love America, you should want America's president to be successful. If he strengthens our economy, resolves conflict around the world, and makes our streets safe again, we all win. When America's president is respected around the world, we all win. When America succeeds, we all win. Now it's time for us to come together as one nation, the United States. This moment will be a turning point in our history and a triumph for all Americans. Tomorrow, when Donald J. Trump is sworn in as the 47th President of the United States, the great comeback story begins and our country starts winning again. Thank you, America!
Dana White, the UFC CEO, longtime friend of President-elect Donald Trump, speaking there at his victory rally. Up next, we are going to hear from a number of other people. So far, we've heard from John Voight, Stephen Miller, Megyn Kelly, Steve Witkoff, and now Dana White, a number of Trump allies to keep your eye on as the day goes on. We are going to continue monitoring, though, the Trump rally that is ongoing. And I'll just tell you from images I've seen so far, the crowd expands far and really fills up almost the entire Capital One arena there in Washington. I'm just watching it here down below because the large crowd here. So much ongoing, and really this just shows what maybe the next 4 years might look like. A lot of people outlining their piece, their piece that they kind of put in play for the president-elect just nearly a day before the inauguration of Donald Trump. So much to talk about. So much that the president-elect has planned in the next 4 years. We are going to continue to listen in to the number of other speakers as the day goes on. But let's go back now live out to Capital One Arena.
Please welcome to the stage members of the First Family, Don Jr., Eric, and Laura Trump.
Okay, you just heard there Don Trump Jr., Barron Trump, and a number of other members of the First Family expected to walk up to the stage here. So we have, I can't tell, is that Laura Trump? Yes, that is Laura Trump, Don Trump Jr., and Barron Trump even joined alongside with their children. We are also seeing Kai Trump, Don Trump Jr.'s daughter there, all being welcomed to the stage. Expected to hear a long bit of remarks here. We will listen into that in just a moment. I want to address some other news made earlier today. As we were talking just before we heard from Dana White, Steve Witkoff, the special envoy to the Middle East for President-elect Trump, addressing the breaking news that occurred today. 3 women held hostage by Hamas were released. Those women being now back safe with their family, according to the White House and the Israeli Defense Forces. Just that breaking news, I wanted to address that did occur a little bit earlier today. President Biden addressed it, saying after nearly 470 days, these people were now free, thanks to his White House and special envoy, in this case, just in recent weeks here, helping in the negotiations of a ceasefire deal that went into effect earlier today Steve Witkoff. That occurred a little bit earlier today. Now we are seeing Barron Trump's son or daughter there. I'm unsure to be able to tell here from the view I have, but speaking on the mic. Barron Trump now here speaking. Let's listen in here. I'm sorry. I meant to say Eric Trump. Barron Trump. Apologies. Eric Trump now speaking at the Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. Forgive me for that. Let's listen in here. The Trump Organization Executive Vice President.
And you know what, guys? They tried to stop him. They tried to indict him. They tried to take him down. They raided his home. They went after his children. They tried to bankrupt him. They tried to imprison him. They did everything they could to stop this movement, and they failed. And here we are in Washington, D.C. on this beautiful day, and Donald J. Trump is about to take back the White House. And guys, our country is back. Our country will be respected again. We as Americans will be proud again. America will be feared again. We are going to have the greatest nation on earth. The nonsense ends. The bullshit ends right now. We love you. We love you. We love you. Thank you for having me be such a big part of this journey. I'll truly never, ever forget it. Thank you, guys. We love you.
Ladies and gentlemen, less than 24 hours from now, we will call Donald Trump President of the United States of America. It's not just what we worked for over the past year, or even over the past 4 years. It started the second a bold, brash businessman from New York City came down the golden escalator and Trump Tower 9.5 years ago, and people said it was impossible. And yet that man is the one who will save not just our country, but will save the entire world. And so I just want to quickly say thank you. Thank you guys for continuing, despite all you heard out there, to believe in Donald Trump, to stand by our family throughout this fight. Thank you for trusting me to be your co-chair of the Republican National Committee. I hope I did you proud. I made promises all over this country when I went and spoke, and I said, you're not going to cheat in this election. And they got upset when I said something around the lines of, if you are a person who wants to cheat in our election, we will find you, we will track you down, and we will prosecute you to the full extent of the law. So I said it louder next time. And this was a free, fair, and transparent election. And if there's one thing I am proud of, it's that we restored the American people's faith in our electoral system this election in 2024.
Okay, stand by here. We will regain that feed any moment now. Apologies, just some technical difficulties occurring on our side of things. We will get that back for you. Just stand by with us. We are going to sneak in a quick 2-minute break, though. Don Trump Jr. now speaking. We will bring you that when we return in just a moment. You're watching Brookland News Live right here on BN. And welcome back. I'm Jackson Mitchell. Happening now, Trump at his victory rally just a day before the inauguration at Capital One. You're looking live there. Don Trump Jr., who is speaking right now. We've heard from a number of Trump allies. Let's listen in here now as the Trump family speaks at his pre-inauguration rally.
When you look at the fighters, you see people who truly all believe in the America First movement, and that's what this is about. Putting America first, putting our families first, putting the Constitution first, and putting our children first. So with that, I have to introduce a young lady, my oldest daughter, Kai. Pretty good, Kai, I don't know. With that kind of applause in the Trump family, it creates some problems. But she was with me. She was with me when we found out about my father, her grandfather, and best golfing buddy was shot. And she called me the next morning and said, "Dad, I must speak at the RNC this week. I don't care." And I said to her, "Are you sure? You want, your first speech ever, you wanted to be in front of 50,000 people and tens of millions on TV?" And she goes, "I don't care." So I called my dad. I said, "Listen, she wants to do this." And he goes, "Whoa, that's a big one." And he just said, "You know what? That kid is an absolute winner. Let her do it." And that, again, is the fight that we all need in our country. That's what we want for all of our children. So with that, my daughter, Kai.
Hi, everyone. Thank you all for the support for the past decade, and we're looking forward to the next 4 years, and God bless America. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. You are the best. No one will fight harder than my father for all of you. There's no more resilient man in the world than Donald Trump. Every time they tried to take him out, every time they said he was finished and we're moving on, he came back. Bigger, better, stronger than ever before. And this next 4 years, with this incredible team that we've assembled, is going to be the pièce de résistance. This is going to be it. We're going to win for all of you. So thank you, and God bless.
Okay. Large part of the Trump family speaking there. Don Trump Jr., Kai Trump, Laura Trump, and Eric Trump all speaking there at the rally, pre-inauguration rally just a day before here, mentioning a number of different things. Eric Trump starting it off with talking about the prosecutions against President-elect Donald Trump, saying that they tried to come after his own children, which would be Eric Trump and Don Trump Jr., saying essentially it was all a lie, and that Donald Trump never broke any laws there. Really so much to talk about. All we talk about this inauguration, we've been talking about the news all day of those 3 hostages that have come home. A busy news day. Donald Trump to speak later at this rally. Donald Trump to be inaugurated to become president at 11 a.m. Central tomorrow. As we continue to stand by the next speaker here at this victory rally in D.C. Plus, even more news about the TikTok ban. Trump, in some ways, could be called the saver of the application, saying, that his administration will make sure there are no implications, and they will extend the ban, not extend it rather, but get rid of the ban for another 90 days, and so that they could work something out. We'll have to see kind of what happens here, and I will note that due to very, very chilly temperatures in D.C. tomorrow, the inauguration has, in fact, been moved inside to this exact arena where it is at, and it will be played on big screens, the Jumbotron essentially there, inside of that arena. And then nearly, I want to say it was 400 people could fit into the Capitol. Forgive me if my number is way off, but I believe it was 400 people that they said could fit into the Capitol Rotunda, where this has now moved. Now this is similar to Ronald Reagan's inauguration, which was moved into the Capitol due to frigid temperatures. The same thing that Donald Trump is now figuring out, but it's unclear exactly if House members as spouses, and who exactly gets to see this inauguration front facing forward here towards gets to see it from the Capitol Rotunda. Many are now saying, according to sources, they are reporting that people who get to see it will be those that were sitting in the section, or just those with tickets to see the inauguration. Apologies. So lots to talk about there as we take you back out live to the pre-inauguration rally that's been ongoing for quite some time. Some music playing very loud. There is a lot of people in the crowd are already here for the inauguration and are just finding something to do during the day, coming to this rally, seeing a lot of longtime Trump allies beginning to speak as we continue to monitor this victory rally just a day before inauguration. A busy news Sunday, a rare Sunday here, just a day before inauguration. Brookland News Live continues in just a moment. And welcome back to Brookland News Live as we continue to cover the Trump victory rally going on right now. Standing by for the next speaker. I want to talk just a little bit about here what the inauguration will look like. Axios has published a story talking about what to expect. Beginning the story out talking about how this is only, apologies here, it's only the third time that Martin Luther King Jr. Day has fallen. I should say Martin Luther King Day has fallen on Inauguration Day. The earlier instances being during the inauguration of former President Bill Clinton in 2013, 1997, and the inauguration of former President Obama. Keep going down here. Trump has told NBC News last month that the central theme of his inaugural address will be unity. In that interview, he said, quote, "As I said, we're going to be talking about unity, and we're going to be talking about success, making our country safe, keeping people that shouldn't be in our country, saying that we should keep them out, essentially there." He says, we have to do that. Going on to say, I know it doesn't sound nice, but we have to do that, talking about the border, something we have so often addressed here. Now, the inauguration's gates will open bright and early, 5 a.m., I should say Eastern Time, 4 a.m. Central Time. And the musical performances will begin at about 8:30 a.m. Central Time per a news release from the JCCIC, which is the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies. A number of singers will be there, but the inaugural ceremonies will begin at 10:30 a.m. Central, 11:30 a.m. Eastern, and the swearing-in ceremony will begin right at noon, with Vance going first and Trump to follow. Now, as I was noting before we took a break, it was originally to happen outside on the outside of the Capitol, along kind of where the National Mall is. People line up there. You can watch it on the big screen. Then you can watch it. But that has all changed. The swearing-in ceremony has now been moved inside the Capitol Rotunda due to the freezing weather forecast. Now the parade down Pennsylvania Avenue will move to Washington's Capital One Arena, and more than 220,000 tickets were printed for the event, with former Presidents Barack Obama, George Bush, and Bill Clinton, and tech Mongols alike set to attend. As I was saying earlier, I believe I want to pronounce this name right here, but TikTok CEO Shou Chu is expected to be in attendance, as well as Elon Musk, Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, Apple CEO Tim Cook, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, and Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg. And he is going to be co-hosting a black tie reception Monday night. That is all according to the Associated Press. Carrie Underwood, The Village People, Kid Rock, Billy Ray Cyrus. Village People, Kid Rock, Billy Ray Cyrus all expected to perform right here at the event we are watching on the right side of your screen, while Carrie Underwood will perform at the actual inauguration. Tomorrow, country singer Jason Aldean and the band Rascal Flatts will play at the inaugural ball coming up on Monday. Now, former House Speaker, now Speaker Emerita, Nancy Pelosi, the Democrat from California, will not be in attendance. That's all according to a spokesperson. Will not be in attendance at the inauguration, as well as Michelle Obama, who have joined this kind of growing list of people who will not be there. Now, we know President Biden and the Vice President are expected to be there. The President going to be there, unlike how Donald Trump did not show up to his inauguration in 2020. That came after a really, really high time in politics when people were claiming that the election was stolen, some even still believing that. Although the election has since been called by a number of reliable sources in favor of President Biden, and he's been president now for 4 years, continuing to stand by for the next speaker at the Trump victory rally just the day before inauguration. A lot to watch out for. A lot of Trump allies have already spoken, that including a long list of people. Have them right here. Stand by with me. That including John Voight, the actor, Stephen Miller, soon-to-be Deputy Chief of Staff, Megyn Kelly, the host of The Megyn Kelly Show on SiriusXM, Steve Woodcock, the special envoy to the Middle East for Trump. And I want to let's listen in here for just a moment, because we're now seeing President-elect Donald Trump arriving at Capital One Arena.
In every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today.
And what you're watching there is the President-elect just the day before inauguration arriving to Capital One Arena. It's unclear if he's going to walk all the way to the stage, down the steps here, talking to a number of people on the in the rows there. It's unknown if he's going to head immediately to the stage, stop somewhere. There was some type of kind of tea leaf, essentially reading the tea leaves here, saying that he would stop at a certain section to speak to some people here, and it appears we're now watching him come to this stage. You are watching Trump's victory rally as he is soon to speak here. Let's listen in.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. We won. We won. Thank you very much, everybody. What a good feeling. We like winning, don't we? Huh? We're going to make our country greater than ever before. Hello, Washington, and hello, America. We're all over America. I'm thrilled to be back with so many friends, supporters, and true American patriots on the eve of taking back our country. That's what we're going to do, take back our country. Tomorrow at noon, the curtain closes on 4 long years of American decline, and we begin a brand new day of American strength and prosperity, dignity and pride. Bringing it all back. Once and for all, we're going to end the reign of a failed and corrupt political establishment in Washington, a failed administration. We're not going to take it anymore. We're going to stop the invasion of our borders. We're going to reclaim our wealth. We're going to unlock the liquid gold that's right under our feet, liquid gold. We're going to bring back law and order to our cities. We're going to restore patriotism to our schools, get radical left, woke ideologies the hell out of our military and out of our government. And we are going to make America great again. I want to thank the tens of thousands of incredible men and women who have come from all over the nation to take part in this very special moment. And I just heard in watching some of the coverage that there are rallies like this taking place all over the country. People are happy. People are happy. It's been a long time. None of this would have been possible without you and the millions of hardworking citizens who have joined our cause. You know, right over there, I just noticed a group of beautiful ladies, beautiful women from North Carolina, right here too. I don't know how the hell they've been to 167 rallies. You believe it? You think their husbands are happy about that? I don't know. But they look beautiful. They're incredible people, and they love our country. Thank you very much. Then up here I see we have front row Joes all over the place. Uncle Sam, Mr. Wall. Ah, boy, oh boy. But we've been through so much together, and for the next 4 years, I will fight for you every single day. We're going to be fighting for you. This is the greatest political movement in American history. And 75 days ago, we achieved the most epic political victory our country has ever seen. That's what they say. We won the popular vote for the first time of any Republican in many, many years. We swept all 7 swing states by big numbers. We won Pennsylvania, we won Georgia, we won North Carolina, we won Michigan, we won Wisconsin, we won Arizona, we won Nevada. We won them all by historic margins, and we won the great state of Florida by 13 points. Nobody's done that ever. And a record that will never be broken. All 50 states shifted toward the Republican Party, the first time that that's ever happened. All 50 states. We won the largest number of African-American voters in Republican Party history. We won more Hispanic American votes than any Republican has ever gotten before by a lot. And we won Latino men and women, and on top of that, youth, men, women, urban, suburban, rural, and people from everywhere in between are joining us in record numbers. We've never had anything like this. Too big to rig, that's what I used to say. Too big to rig. We made it too big. Oh, and they tried. They tried. It was too big. Around 9:02, they just said, let's get the hell out of here. This isn't working. They were swamped, to put it nicely. We also took back the U.S. Senate. We had some great people running. And the House Republicans won their largest popular vote majority in presidential year since 1928. We had a lot of people voting. So the Senate, the House Republicans, we got all three of them. A little bit close on those two. Senate's in great shape. House Republicans, actually, they both have great leaders. They both have great people. Heading John Thune is fantastic. And if you look at Mike Johnson, he's got a pretty tight majority, but actually it's very tight, but it's very good because we vote unified. We're really voting unified, and so it doesn't make much difference. In the election of 2024, which will be the most consequential election in American history, we not only won a mandate, but we built a new American majority that will lead our country to unparalleled success for generations to come. That's what we want to do. And someday, in 30 years from now, 40 years from now, 50 years from now, some of these young people are going to say, I remember Donald Trump, he did a good job. He set us on his way. He told us, he gave us a path. Our new administration will inherit disasters at home and abroad, an economy plagued by inflation and high interest rates, a catastrophic border crisis. Nobody can believe they let people in. They have an open border policy. Do you think that makes sense? Open borders. Anybody wants to. Jails, prisons, mental institutions, gangs being emptied right through that ugly open border. A government that cannot care for its citizens in a time of emergency. Look at what's happening in Los Angeles. Look at what's happening in North Carolina. They've treated them so badly. In a planet on the brink of World War III. It's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. But starting tomorrow, I will act with historic speed and strength and fix every single crisis facing our country. We have to do it. We're not going to have a country left. Before even taking office, you are already seeing results that nobody expected to see. Everyone is calling it I don't want to say this, it's too braggadocious, but we'll say it anyway. The Trump effect. It's you. You're the effect. Since the election, the stock market has surged and small business optimism has soared a record 41 points to a 39-year high. Bitcoin has shattered one record high after another. The major investment company known as DeMat, the properties, has announced that it will be investing between $20 and $40 billion in the United States, and SoftBank, another great company, has pledged between $100 and $200 billion. These are all investments that are only being made because of the fact that we won the election. Going to create jobs for hundreds of thousands, even millions of Americans. Today I spoke with Tim Cook of Apple. He said they're going to make a massive investment in the United States because of our big election win. And as of today, TikTok is back. So, you know, I did a little TikTok thing. We have a guy, TikTok Jack. He's a young kid, like 21 years old. And we hired this guy, and I went on TikTok. Can you believe what I'll do to win an election? And we went on TikTok, and Republicans have never won the young vote, the youth vote. They win a lot of votes, but they never won the youth vote. We won the youth vote by 36 points. So I like TikTok. I I like it. I like it. I had a slightly good experience, wouldn't you say? Romney lost it by 40 points. Not so long ago, we won it by 36 points. That's a very big spread. But I said we need to save TikTok because we're talking about a tremendous... Who in this audience goes with TikTok? Many? Yeah, very popular. And frankly, we have no choice. We have to save it. A lot of jobs. We don't want to give our business to China. We don't want to give our business to other people. And I said, you know, TikTok without my approval, meaning the president's approval, because Congress gave the president the right to make a deal, do whatever he wants. And they did that a long time ago when they had a different president. They didn't know that I was going to be the president, I guess. So I said, very simply, a joint venture. So if TikTok is worth nothing, zero, without an approval, you know, if you don't approve, they're out of business, they're worth nothing. If you do approve, they're worth like $1 trillion. They're worth some crazy number. So I said, I'll approve, but let the United States of America own 50% of TikTok. I'm approving on behalf of the United States. So they'll have a partner, the United States, and they'll have a lot of bidders, and the United States will do what we call a joint venture. And there's no risk. We're not putting up any money. All we're doing is giving them the approval, without which they don't have anything. So I don't know. It sounds like that works. What do you think? Good? I think so. So whether you like TikTok or not, we're going to make a lot of money. Perhaps most beautiful of all, this week we achieved an epic ceasefire agreement as a first step toward lasting peace in the Middle East. And this agreement could only have happened as a result of our historic victory in November. That was some victory. Was that the greatest? I don't even know which was greater, 2016 or this one. I think this one. Look, Honest Abe Lincoln. We have Honest Abe. We have Uncle Sam. You know, Uncle Sam shook my hand about 2 months ago. He's got the strongest grip I've ever... You are a strong man. I said, what the hell was that? But I'm glad to report that the first hostages have just been released. And who knows what's going to happen. I know that Biden is saying that they made the deal. Well, you know. I mean, that deal should have... First of all, it would have never happened if I were president. Would have never happened. There was not even a thought of it. Iran was broke. They had no money for Hezbollah. They had no money for Hamas. They had no money. They were broke, totally broke, and they would have never done anything. But they did it, you know. I like to think back to the past. I said, if only the election weren't rigged, all the things that would have happened that would have been so good. But it was. We're not going to let that happen again. I want to thank my friend Steve Witkoff, who I think is here. I know he made a beautiful speech. I heard he made a great speech.
Without the ones like you working tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. No matter your industry, Grainger's here for you with professional-grade supplies. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Guy, but he's our new special envoy to the Middle East for helping reach this great breakthrough, and really couldn't have been done without Steve. Where is Steve Witkoff? Is he around here someplace? Because he was so great. There he is. Hello, Steve. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steve. What a job. Our incoming administration has achieved all of this in the Middle East in less than 3 months without being president. We've achieved more without being president than they've achieved in 4 years with being president. But just imagine all of the good things that we will accomplish together with 4 more years in the White House, and we're going to do a lot of things. You're going to see something tomorrow. You're going to see executive orders that are going to make you extremely happy. Lots of them. Lots of them. We have to set our country on the proper course. By the time the sun sets tomorrow evening, the invasion of our borders will have come to a halt, and all the illegal border trespassers will in some form or another be on their way back home. Think of it. We've allowed millions and millions of people into our country through open borders, no checks, no vetting, no anything. Millions and millions of people. And lots of those people are murderers. 52% of them killed more than one person. Other than that, they're quite fine. They're nice people. These are rough people. Remember, I used to say these people are rough. And they would say, no, no, these are illegal immigrants. They're very safe. I said, they're not safe. Look at what's happened with Venezuela, where they're sending these gangs in and they're taking over apartment complexes in Colorado and then cutting off the fingers of a man who had the nerve and desire to call the police. He said, you want to call the police? Bah, guess what? You have no fingers. These are rough people, and they're getting the hell out of our country. They're out. The border security measures I will outline in my inaugural address tomorrow will be the most aggressive, sweeping effort to restore our borders the world has ever seen. You know, we had the best, safest border in the history of our country. You remember that with the great chart that I put up. I don't even know if they have that chart now. Maybe they do. These guys are good. Maybe they do. Who the? I don't know. I didn't tell them I was going to do this. I didn't tell, but we have some very good people, but I didn't say. But we had a chart, and I looked to my right, and then I said, ooh, that was it. That hurt. What the hell was that? I still have that throbbing feeling in my ear. Oh, there it is. Look at it. These people are amazing. I didn't tell them I was doing that. That's fantastic. Yeah, it's all over the place. I love that. That is the most beautiful piece of paper I've ever seen in my life. But if you look at that chart, and you look at the red arrow on the bottom, that's the single lowest we ever had in history, at least recorded history, of illegals pouring into our country. We had done a great job, and then they took over, and look what happened. It's like an Elon Musk rocket ship going up. That reminds me of Elon, his rocket ships. Look at that. Look at the difference. And it just continued, and we're taking in people that shouldn't be here. They come in from prisons, from jails. They shouldn't be here. Mental institutions. I used to mention, and the press would always excoriate me, I'd say the late, great Hannibal Lecter came into our country today. Silence of the Lambs. Anybody see that movie? Lovely movie. And when people went to the voter booth, they said, we don't want Hannibal Lecter in our country. The press would say, why is he bringing up Hannibal Lecter? That was a fictitious character. Actually, they're not so fictitious. We have people in our country that are probably worse that we allowed in. But we will quickly reestablish control of our sovereign territory and borders. We will expel every single illegal alien, gang member, and migrant criminal operating on American soil, and remove the savage gang Trendiraqua from the United States. Here's a little video for you to see about this gang. Go ahead.
Open borders, deadly consequences.
Border crisis. Record high crossings are putting a strain on cities across America. It is a full-blown invasion.
Armed Venezuelan gang members storming an apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado.
When people talk about lack of crime, this is what they're talking about.
San Antonio, Texas, just one of the latest cities to have apartment complexes taken over by members of the Venezuelan gang.
Biden and Harris have created a program to bring them in under humanitarian parole.
I am in favor of saying that we're not going to treat people who are undocumented cross the border as criminals.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been released into the United States.
My 20-year-old daughter, Kayla Hamilton, was murdered in her own room. Kayla's murderer was apprehended by Border Patrol crossing illegally into the U.S.
Kayla's murderer had been improperly released into the United States.
Abolish ICE.
Tear up your car insurance bill and try this instead. I used to let them raise my car insurance every year until I found this huge loophole that insurance companies don't want you to know about. I was paying over $150 for car insurance. It sucked. I was getting ripped off. That was until I found this Agile Rates site, and now I'm paying $38 a month for the same exact coverage. Stop overpaying, it's so easy and it only takes 2 minutes. I dropped a link for you below.
Hands and feet. Court documents suggest a group of men arrested for beating and robbing a Dallas woman last month are members of a Venezuelan street gang.
The men threatened to cut off her fingers if she did not cooperate. Manuel Hernandez was booked by Colleyville police just 2 days earlier and released the day before the robbery.
A Peruvian gang leader who is wanted for 23 murders, who was arrested by Border Patrol near Roma, Texas, then released into America.
That's what we allowed in, and they're nice people compared to some of them. They're nicer than others. These are really vicious people, gang members, and many, many people from prisons. And crime all over the world is down. You know why? Because they got their criminals into the United States of America. You look at Venezuela, they've emptied their prisons into our country. Many other places the same. I would have done the same if I headed up any of the countries. I know most of those guys are smart. They're leaders. They are smart, streetwise people. As soon as I heard they were going to have open borders, I said, if you do that, every prison all over the world is going to be emptied out into our country. They come in from the Congo. The Congo's big on emptying their prisons. The only thing good about it is they make our criminals look like really nice people. These people are vicious people all over the world, not just South America, all over the world they come. From mental institutions and from jails and prisons. With our actions tomorrow, my administration will deliver justice for every family whose loved one has been stolen from them by migrant crime, including Laken Riley, Rachel Morin, Jocelyn Nungari, Kayla Hamilton, and every other precious American soul that we have lost to these animals. Their memories will live in the hearts forever, in our hearts forever, and we will never, ever forget them. And their contribution, I told their mothers who were devastated, their parents, their fathers, they're devastated. They'll never be the same. They'll never be the same. But I said, your daughter has made a major contribution. Your son has made a major contribution. There are hundreds and even thousands of victims of this horrible atrocity. And you add those numbers to the numbers of crime that we're already going through the roof, and it's something that you wouldn't even believe. Do you remember I did the debate, and I had David Muir from ABC saying, no, crime has gone down. I said, no, it's gone through the roof. Crime has gone through the roof, David. No, crime has gone down. I said, it's gone through the roof. And then he goes, I disagree with that. The next day they announced that crime was up like 40%. This guy is, the whole thing is so bad. You can't even imagine how anybody could be for these things of, think of it, open borders, prisons, and mental institutions, men playing in women's sports, transgender for everyone. Transgender. And very soon we'll begin the largest deportation operation in American history, larger even larger than President Dwight Eisenhower, who has the record right now. And we're going to end the Biden war on American energy and unleash our energy resources to quickly defeat inflation and achieve the lowest cost of energy and electricity on Earth. And we're going to be using our emergency powers to allow countries and entrepreneurs and people with a lot of money build big plants, AI plants. We need double the energy that we already have, and it's going to end up being more than that. And we're going to slash the regulations, environmental regulations that are really put in there in order to stop progress in this country. We're going to also slash something else, the waste in our bloated federal bureaucracy. We will create the new Department of Government Efficiency, headed by a gentleman named Elon Musk, who's here someplace. I don't know where the hell he is. He's here someplace. Come here, Elon. Did you see his rocket yesterday? It was captured. Ah, and X is with him. X. Come on, Elon, say a couple of words.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President. Sorry, little X just followed me on the stage here. He's a very enthusiastic supporter, as you can see. Woo! Yeah. So we're looking forward to making a lot of changes, and you know this victory is
Okay, that is Elon Musk now speaking at this pre-inaugural rally. We are going to continue monitoring that on BN, here on BN. If anything crazy occurs, we will bring that right to you. But that is going to do it for me on this Saturday. You can catch me right back here, same time, same place, next Sunday. See you then. But for now, I am Jackson Mitchell here inside Brookland News Headquarters. Have a beautiful week.